Now this is Nicky G and welcome to Better Commander. What the heck is Dominaria Remastered? Why should I care? I'm gonna tell you, brother. Listen, I was spending some time just perusing the set, looking for gems and steals and deals and stuff like that. This isn't your average set review, okay? We're gonna do a deep dive. We're going so deep you'll need to bring equipment to saw your own arm off to escape the crevasse of expert analysis. And if you're sitting there watching this video, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It's not a big ask. In return, I'll provide you with such a density of pithy quips and cards that you'll get the vapors. So what is Dominaria Remastered? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Well, it's a semi-premium set, meaning it's priced at $200 currently. I mean, God knows we don't have MSRP anymore. But $200 currently for a draft box, $300 for a collector box. Those are the products you can buy along with boosters at $7. This is a reprint set with cards selected from a whopping 72 sets on Dominaria. So we've established that, but why should you care? Well, it's got reprints of some pretty obvious Commander staples and some not so obvious ones. By the end of this video, each and every one of you will hopefully say, wow, I didn't know that card existed. I'll have to pick up a copy. Nicky G's so smart. He's the man. So let's dive in. I'm going to say this right up front. I'm buying 0 boxes of this, but I will be buying singles for my decks. So view this video through the lens of an ultra chad single buying alpha man like me. I'm not going over every card, alright? I don't have a lot of time. I'm going over the notable reprints, the stuff I'm interested in, the stuff that grabs me. Is Vampiric Tutor good? Heck yeah, it's good. But is it interesting to talk about all day? No, you silly goose. Alright, I'm going to cover some mythics first. We got Hunting Grounds, green and white for an enchantment, has Threshold. As long as there are 7 more cards in your graveyard, Hunting Ground has whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is a weird card that has only had 1 prior printing in Judgment and is about $15. It's interesting. You need to lean into some self-mill in order to have this online, but if you do, and it's an immensely powerful effect. Do you have an Abzan self-mill deck? If you do, then this card might be for you. Kamal, Fist of Krosa. I've been held hostage to this guy before. 4 green for a legendary creature, Human Druid. It's 4/3 with green. Target land becomes a 1/1 creature until the end of turn. It's still a land. And 2 green. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and green. Gain trample until end of turn. This was a $6 card. It had 2 prior printings. He's such a muscly, beautiful man. The abilities on this guy are super useful in a green big mana deck. Note that it says target land, so your buddy Glassschmitz over there has a Valakut, turn it into a creature in response to his board wipe. This little guy is a little niche, but I'm happy to see it reprinted. Last chance for you, red for a sorcery. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. This should get a little cheaper. It's had 2 prior printings and sets so old that when they cut their arm, dust comes out instead of blood. It also had a secret lair with an egg on it for some reason. I don't know what the heck's up with that. I missed that one. These cards are just better than they look. How many games did you have when you needed just 1 more turn to stabilize? You say to your buddies, oh, if I had 1 more turn, I'm blah, blah, blah. Plus, there are some convoluted combos with Sundial of the Infinite and Ardent Elementalist. It's a very cool, powerful card. Now, I've talked about how powerful and efficient Lyra Dawnbringer is, but she's getting another reprint after a recent reprint in Jumpstart 2022. Hopefully this drops her price a little bit. She's a great Angel Commander, or in the 99 of your Angel deck, your Giada deck, whatever you got going on, brother. No mercy. That's what my lawyer said, and she charged me $65 for a 6-minute phone call. 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Besides a Judge gift card and an Amonkhet Masterpiece, this has only had 1 printing. Extremely hard card to play around. Your opponents need to remove this thing. It's the ultimate pillow fort card and was up to about $40. Great reprint. Sneak Attack. I remember a time when this was only printed once and was like $40, but it's been reprinted a bunch of times recently. It's still a pricey card, still a powerhouse. The old school art on this is just gorgeous. Look at those goblins. They're just out there getting great ideas. Oh my god, dude. Sylvan Library. Despite 7 or so printings and a recent reprint in Commander Collection Green, the cheapest version was $35. I hope this set is heavily open so this becomes more available because it's as powerful as you get. That's why Josh Lee Kwai sleeps with one under his pillow next to his signed picture of Toast Malone. Test of Endurance. With only 1 prior printing in Judgment, this was up to about $20. This is a niche alternate win condition, but Allura players just collectively lost control of their bowels out there, dude. Hopefully the price on this comes down a little bit. Time Stretch. What a stupid card. This had 2 prior printings and was up to around $23 or so. This card needs a bit of a build around, but goes great in decks where you're casting free spells or cheating mana costs like Joda, whatever. Plus it doesn't exile itself. You can pull this out of the yard with Archaeomancer or whatever. Urza's Incubator was 50 bucks, dude. This had only 3 prior printings. I think Tesla made this. That's why it's so expensive. This is the ultimate expensive tribe card. You building demons with Be'lakor? Are you building dragons? You building giants? Well, hopefully this becomes a reasonable include. Arborea. It's just a bunch of dang trees. 2 green for a world enchantment. Creatures can't attack a player unless that player casts a spell or put a non-token permanent onto the battlefield during their last turn. You know when you want this old card from Legends? When you're doing things at instant speed, brother. It only cares if you put a permanent out or cast a spell during your turn. It's worth it to read the rulings on this though, because its only other printing was in Legends in 1994. Most of y'all weren't even on the earth in 1994. Let's take a minute and look at the birds. Okay, these are the Birds of Paradise. Any reprint of Birds of Paradise is a good reprint. This is the best mana dork and commander in Magic the Gathering, probably full stop. Despite 12 million printings, it's still a $13 card. This is a really cool card. Chainer Dementia Master. 3 black for a legendary creature. A human minion, it's a 3/3. Nightmare creatures get +1/+1. Has black. Pay 3 life. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That creature is black and is a nightmare in addition to its other types. When Chainer leaves the battlefield, exile all nightmares. This guy has had only 1 prior printing and the price was $15. I expect the price on this thing is probably going to crater, but this is a fantastic recursion engine. Note that it says any graveyard. Plus, look at this guy. Looks like a 90s rave DJ with his sweet goatee. Crawl space, dude. I don't know what's hiding in that crawl space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Well, this stymies token swarm strategies. This was up to about $13, but certainly has its place in certain decks. Cryptic Gateway. This is Bill Gates' Gateway. 5 generic mana for an artifact. Tapped 2 untapped creatures you control. You may put a creature card from your hand that shares a creature type with each creature tapped this way onto the battlefield. This is an interesting $6 card. This has only had 1 prior printing, but certainly is interesting for certain tribal decks with big creatures. I think this is one that's probably been power crept out of the format, but it looks interesting if a very niche include. And the Cryptic Gateway is the only way to get to Donald Trump's private golf course. Come to my Cryptic Gateway, okay? You're gonna like it, and you're gonna like it a lot. Alright, let's talk about some really sweet tutors that are reprinted at Rare here. You have Enlightened Tutor, you have Entomb, Mystical Tutor, Worldly Tutor. I'll throw Gamble in there too, but Gamble is a sorcery. These are all getting beautiful reprints, so keep your eye on prices if you have a desire for any of these. If you're new to Magic, you can cast one of these at instant speed top deck tutors during your upkeep and put that card on top, then draw it during your draw step. Upkeep is the earliest point in your turn where you'll receive priority. You can play anything that is instant speed, such as an instant or a creature with flash, and you can use activated abilities. If any ability is triggered on your untapped step, they will be put onto the stack in your upkeep step. There's your rules break for the day, brothers. Yeah, Exploration, green for an enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. This is one of the most efficient ramp engines in any deck that wants lands, which is basically all decks. This is 1 green mana, dude. Green is the bacon of mana colors. It gets all the best stuff. This was $22 prior to this printing. Alright, let's mention the land cycle quickly because these are great in optimized mana bases and 2-color decks. Despite multiple reprints, these are all about $4 to $5 and are great lands to pick up. Maze of Ith. I hate this card. It's a land. Tap, untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. This card is so stupid. I hate it because I've been stymied by it before. This is a great utility land in a combat meta. It's currently a $12 card. The downside is that you don't get to make any mana with it outside some Urborg or Chromatic Lantern shenanigans. Mystic Remora is coming back with lame new art. How is this guy just conjuring a fish with his mind, dude? The old art is so much better. It's just a dank fish being mystical out there. That's all, it was the old times. That's all we had. We had a fish. He's a mystical fish. That's it. This is a $7 card. Should be more affordable for your sweaty CEDH decks. This is a notable reprint for sure. Stroke of Genius, X2 and a blue. For an instant, target player draws X card. The cool thing about this is that it's an instant and only requires 1 colored mana. So if you're producing lots of colorless mana, which I tend to like to do, then you can draw your deck and hopefully win. Underrated, underplayed card. Glad to see this reprint. Alright, let's talk about some uncommons. You got Crop Rotation, green for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a land. Search your library for a land card, put that card onto the battlefield, and shuffle. This is a great land tutor. It's instant speed. Go get your Cradle, go get your Urborg, or go get the utility land you need to accomplish your goal. Just remember old Jimbo there planting trees in the art, dude. He's doing the hard work. High Tide, this is a staple of blue Spellslinger decks. Been copied so many times it's effectively High Tide all year round in this joint. It's getting a beautiful reprint, and that makes me happy. We don't have to rely on the old crazy Fallen Empires art treatments. Back in Fallen Empires days, there were 3 cards for this thing, 3 arts, for some unfathomable reason. I'm always glad to see the Mesa Enchantress. 1 white for a creature, human druid, it's a 0/2. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. It's a great reprint, staple in Enchantress decks. Awesome card. Alright, this one I'm really excited about. You got Turnabout, 2 blue for an instant. Choose artifact, creature, or land. Tap all untapped permanents of the chosen type target player controls, or untap all tapped permanents of that type that player controls. So this can be a ritual in some decks, it can be a control piece, it can be a combo piece. It's just a really versatile card that was up to about $5. Alright, we got some commons. Chain Lightning, 1 red mana for a sorcery. Chain Lightning deals 3 damage to any target, then that player or that permanent's controller may pay red. If the player does, they may copy the spell and choose new targets for the copy. This was a $3 common. It's got some versatile uses. It was a card that really needed a reprint. Cloud of Fairies, 1 blue for a creature fairy, it's a 1/1 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 2 lands, it's got cycling for 2. These little free spells are worth their weight in gold in decks that care how many creature spells you cast or when a creature enters the battlefield. It's a welcome reprint. This was also my high school mascot, the Cloud of Fairies. That's what we call our football team. Similar mechanic with Frantic Search. Talrand decks and decks that care about when you cast a non-creature spell or cast an instant or sorcery love this thing. It's basically free real estate. Snap is another one that goes in so many decks. So glad these are getting reprints. Alright, last one. Peregrine Drake. 4 and a blue for a creature drake. It's a 2/3 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. You guys are going to think that I'm just highlighting blue cards, but I promise I'm not. This is downshifted from uncommon. This was $3 prior to this set. This is a combo engine in blink decks. It's just a stupid card. Alright, now suffice it to say I'll be following this set very closely. There are tons of cards that I want for decks, but I don't want them $30 worth for my decks. Knocking the prices down for some of the cheaper staples is pretty awesome too. So what are you looking forward to? Any cards that I missed, or are there any cards that you'll be buying? Drop me your hot takes in the comments, bros. I miss you. But until next time, Sneaky G from Better Commander, signing off.